Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With His love, we're never ashamed. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. I am your host, Wise Man. I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. I hope all is well with you guys. I hope you guys are blessed and having a great Tuesday or a great start to Tuesday. And I appreciate you guys pulling up, and we got to get a little house cleaning right off the rip. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me. That's the only price of the admission to the live stream today. What's going on, everybody? Let me check my sound real quick and make sure that we good. I think we are good. If I sound okay, put a 1 in the chat for me. Let me know where you're tuning in from, city, state, country. This thing's going international, man. We got people that watch the channel and watch what we do over here from all across the globe, all across the country, every time zone. It is phenomenal. It's a blessing, to be honest with you. I don't take it for granted. It's still somewhat surreal. When I have people come up to me and say, what's up to me? Like, hey, man, I watch you. I listen to you. I promise you, man, it's unbelievable. It really is. It really is. 2 years ago, if you'd have told me that would have been the case, I wouldn't have believed it, to be honest with you, man. But I am blessed. I appreciate you guys pulling up, man, and I appreciate you guys rocking with me as you do on a day-to-day basis. Let me show some love to my folks in the chat. First and foremost, man, shout out to the Blues, Zephyr K9, B, Michelle, who else? T.A. Caskey, Larry Montgomery. Shout out to my Blues. Appreciate you guys pulling up, keeping things peaceful in the chat on a day-to-day basis, man. Thank you very much. Shout out to all my ARP family members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Y'all know what it is when you on this side of the thing, when you're on this side of the internet. A lot of times, we may not get all the love, but I do appreciate you guys, supporting the channel and just giving us the ability to do what we do on a day-to-day basis over here. So I really, really appreciate that. Let me get in the chat, see who's up in here, and properly show some love to my folks out here. What's going on, Lori Addison? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. She told y'all, hit that like, please. She's so polite. What's up, Kevin Caldwell? What's going on, Marla? What up, Hunter? How's it going this morning? Hey, he always blesses us and helps get the day started with a nice verse from the Word of God. Let me go ahead and get in that real quick. He says, I got a great daily verse from John to start the day. says, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. John chapter 8, verse 12. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you, Hunter, brother. I hope all is well down there in North Cat. Be safe out there, brother. What up, Rita Fine Queen? What's up, Mark Galvin? What's going on, Soul Driver? Hope all is well with you guys. We got LHF Guardian Rob in the house. Shout out to you. West End Lake, New York in the building. What up, Sharon Harris? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Who else we got up in here? Dagny Taggart. Shout out to you. Donald Lovejoy. Appreciate you pulling up. Bordeaux for now. Appreciate you pulling up this morning as well. What up, Nelly? What's going on? We got Vicky Vale in the house. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up. Bill Jeek. Is it Jekyll? Sorry about that. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Edmar? Mississippi in the building. What's going on? Steve Edminster. Appreciate you pulling up. Buffalo in the house. Billy W. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. What's up, Jane? How you doing this morning? Toy Mafia in the house. What's going on, Sugar Shane? Appreciate you pulling up. Brian Gable, Annie Love. What's going on, Joseph Orsini? Good to see you, man. It's been a little bit, I think. I hadn't seen you in the chat in a little bit, man. Good to see you, man. What's going on, Leslie Aaron? How you doing this morning? Stonehouse Bread. Appreciate you pulling up. Michigan in the building. Kristen Knight. Abraxas 2121. Woodbridge, VA in the building. That's not too far away from me. My son actually lives not too far away from there. We got Indianapolis in the house. What's up, Maurice? What's going on with you, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, man. Who else we got up in here? Steve Berge in the building. What's going on? Cincinnati in the house. Okay, Sugar Shane. Hey, man, it's wild out there, man. I covered that story yesterday, man. What's going on out there, man? Wild. Goodness gracious. What up, DM Charter? Appreciate you pulling up. Cool Ramon. What up, Grace? Mr. Largy. What's going on, Casey Cooper? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Who else we got up in here? Let's see. Lucas Boy McCain, appreciate you pulling up. We got Shane Grant in the house. Shout out to you. We got Keurig. I know I seen my girl Dr. Kyla up in the building. Shout out to you, sister. Hope all is well. Allie, what's going on, Miss Summers? How you doing this morning? Oh yeah. All right. Who else we got up in here? Agent Orange. Bradford Redding. What's up? What's going on, Scott Williams? Appreciate you pulling up, man. Who else we got up here? Latrice Harris. Appreciate you pulling up, sister. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. What up, Scott Williams? What's going on? All right, Brian Gable. What up, Gerard? Hey, Gerard Caswell in the building. Shout out to you, man. It's been a little bit. I hadn't seen you up in here, man. I hope all is well out there in Missouri. Be safe out there, brother. Hope all is well. What up, Lori Green? Appreciate you pulling up. We got Melissa staying up late just for me. Thank you very much. Honolulu in the building. I got to highlight Melissa. What's going on, Melissa? Out there, hey, just so y'all know, Honolulu, they 6 hours behind us. Y'all do the math on what time it is out there. Y'all do the math. We got Lenore, North Carolina in the house. All right. Leslie Aaron out of Smyrna, Georgia. Okay, now. All right. I see you. All right, we got Karen Van Deventer? Hopefully I pronounced that properly. We got Angel R in the house. What up, Southern Red? Hawkinsville, Georgia in the house. Okay, we got a lot of Georgia folks up in here. I am a kind of a slash. If you're from Georgia, those down south Georgia boys. That was the thing in the 90s, DSGB. I know y'all remember that back in the day. I gotta give and show love to Tennessee as well. Because that's where things started for me at. Oh man, okay, we got Wisconsin in the building, Connecticut in the house. Okay, that's what's up. All right. Oh, Latrice out of Lithonia. Okay, East. All right, you from the East Side? I see you. Okay, I used to live over in there. When I lived in Georgia, where I lived at down there, and I went to middle school and high school in that area. I actually went to Salem Middle for a year. And then I went to Miller Grove, and then I graduated from Reading High School. So, if you're from the area, if you know. Shout out to you, Latrice, man. All right, man. Look at that. We got some East Siders in here. Okay. Ed Mara said it must be the black race stripe in your beard. Hey, I'm so looking forward to this thing going all the way gray, all the way around. This black streak, it's almost like the reverse skunk. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to diet, man. I don't want to put, I used to diet back in the day when I was in my 30s and it started going great. I used to diet all the time, but I just was like, screw it, man. It don't matter. It is what it is. However the good Lord allows this to grow out my face, it is what it is. Oh man, Mark. All right. Yeah, we got to show some we got to make sure that we keep Mark in our prayers, man. He said he just found out yesterday that he's in need of heart surgery next week. They're going to determine when to appreciate all the okay. Yeah. Hey, y'all make sure y'all keep Mark in your prayers, man. Keep him lifted up. Y'all make sure y'all do that. I'll do the same as well. God bless you, Mark, man. What's up, Crystal? How you doing this morning? Y'all make sure y'all show love to my girl Crystal over there. Said good morning, Wise and ARP family. Happy Tuesday. That it is. Shout out to you, Crystal. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, RJ Hudson? What up, Cooley Ray? What's going on, Krista Knight? All right, we got Deborah Carver in the house. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up. Said she missed a few days being in the hospital since last week due to her husband being in the hospital since last week. Hey, y'all make sure y'all keep Deborah Carver's husband lifted up in prayer. Keep her lifted up in prayer. She in there with him. She needs to stay strong. Y'all make sure y'all keep her lifted up in prayer. I'll do the same as well. Appreciate you pulling up for a little bit, Deborah. And tell your husband I said hello and get well soon. God bless you, man. All right, we got Rhonda Evan Alexander. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All right, that's what's up, man. Who else we got up in here? Scott Grainer. Appreciate you pulling up. What's going on? All right, we're gonna get things kicked off here. Make sure you hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Super chat, super thanks would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate everybody that supports the channel financially. I definitely appreciate that. And I really appreciate you guys. Anybody that joins the ARP family or gives ARP family memberships, we'll definitely acknowledge you as well. It's greatly appreciated as well. I do appreciate everybody that supports the channel. What's up, Quentin Thompson? Appreciate you pulling up, man. What's up, Jeanette? What's going on? Cindy Rose, appreciate you pulling up. This morning. Hope all is well. All right. Shout out to Joseph Orsini with the $5 super chat. Says, mother passed away July 6th. I'm back now and healing. Dementia sucks, 73 years young, Wendy Orsini. Rest in peace to Mama Orsini. Rest in peace. Sorry to hear that, Joseph, man. But she did get to live to the promise. She got that 70+3. Dementia definitely sucks. It's unfortunate, man. So, my hearts and prayers goes out to you and your family. Condolences to you, brother, man. Hey, that's awful when that happens, man. I'm sorry to hear that, man. All right. Shout out to Casey Cooper, new ARP family member. Shout out to you. Thank you very much for joining the ARP family. And shout out to Samuel Guzman with the $10 super chat. Says, closest thing I had to a father figure during my teen years was a black man from Alabama that I met at a church youth program. His name was David Christian. We used to wrestle all the time. All right. Appreciate that, Samuel. Appreciate the $10 super chat as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Appreciate that. Oris, the solar. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you supporting the channel and rocking with me, man. I really do. Appreciate that. All righty. With that being said, we're going to get things kicked off here. Again, hit that like button for me. That is the only price of admission, when you pull up, is to hit the like button. That's really all I ask for. Help this content continues to get boosted, in the algorithm, help the channel continue to grow. I definitely appreciate you guys and appreciate you guys supporting me. And you seen the thumbnail, you seen the title. We got a little bit to get into today, but yeah, man, let's get it popping.
Beyonce, Oprah, and Kamala Harris. All of them were mentioned by the president in a social media post filled with accusations, and all are now targets of online threats fueled by Trump and his supporters. CNN's Brian Stelter breaks it down for us.
An incredible weekend. She closed out her Cowboy Carter tour with a sold-out performance in Las Vegas, gaining lots of positive headlines and, of course, many viral videos from the show. But then there was also this headline about Beyoncé, not exactly a positive one, in some ways an absurd one. This is a fact check from CNN's Daniel Dale of a totally made-up claim from President Trump about Beyoncé. Quote, Trump calls to prosecute Beyoncé based on a non-existent $11 million payment. And non-existent is the key word here. The president seemingly telling everyone how he wants his Justice Department to behave, pointing to prominent celebrities, all liberals, and saying they should be prosecuted. The only thing Trump is missing is any actual crime. There's no evidence of a crime here, but he's calling out Beyoncé, Oprah Winfrey, and Al Sharpton for their support of his rival last year, then Vice President Kamala Harris.
All right, so before I get started, we got another super chat. Shout out to the Jay Witt podcast. Okay, now I see you with the rebrand. All right, hey, y'all make sure you go check out my brother Jason over at the Jay Witt podcast. Come through with the $5 super chat. Says, have a great show today, sir. Thanks for the consistent content. Hashtag former DWC, now hashtag Pod Squad. Former DWC, Dear Woke Christian. New rebrand. That's dope, man. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, man. That is awesome. Y'all make sure y'all go check out my brother Jason over there, man. Y'all make sure y'all go do that. So, President Trump's back in the headlines once again. You know what? Let me make myself on the big screen. We're gonna come back to this video, but let me put myself back on the big screen here. So, President Trump back in the headlines once again. This time, this time for calling out Kamala Harris, Beyoncé, and Oprah to be prosecuted over campaign payouts tied to the 2024 election. Now, we know they raised about $1.4 billion, $1.5, $1.6 billion, somewhere in that range. They spent all the money. We know all kinds of people were taking payouts and buyouts and things of that nature. You know who else I'd like to see them call out? I mean, yeah, you're calling out the celebrities. And we're going to continue down this rabbit hole here. Excuse me. But you know who else I'd like to see called out? All these consultant firms that made hundreds of millions of dollars off of this previous election through the DNC. All these consultant firms that they use. I want to see them called out too. I don't necessarily know who they are. I don't have names of these companies. But what we do know is there is a multitude of consulting firms that played a role in this. I want to see these companies called out. I want to see them called out by name. I want to know who they are. And they need to be called out as well. I don't have an issue with the president calling out the celebrities. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with him going after Kamala, going after Beyonce or Oprah and all them. But there's some consulting firms out there as well. There are some consulting firms out there that made hundreds of millions of dollars off of this previous campaign and this loss. I want to know who they are. They need to be called out as well. But CNN, they're absolutely losing their minds. And I would assume I hadn't been on TikTok this morning yet. I hadn't been on TikTok this morning yet, but I would assume that the Bayhive is coming. They're probably already there. They're probably already losing their minds. I'm for certain because CNN is definitely losing its mind. Suddenly, CNN is all about evidence. There's no crime here. That's what CNN said. That's what CNN. There's no crime here. They didn't take any money. I mean, we did hear towards the end of last year that everybody was getting a check. Everybody was getting a check. We did hear this. They said there was no crime, but the last time I checked, y'all had no problem slapping a mugshot on the former president over politically motivated charges. But now we need hard evidence. We need hard evidence. I got it. So what's Trump really talking about here? What is Trump really talking about here? No, it's not illegal to endorse your political opponent. But the controversy goes deeper. It stems from reports last year that Kamala Harris was paying celebrities for endorsements, raising serious ethical questions. That was the word on the street last year. We talked about it a multitude of times on this channel last year. Word on the street that there was a plethora of celebrities out there receiving big bags to endorse Kamala Harris. Now, according to the records, Kamala Harris's team paid Beyonce's production company, Parkwood Entertainment, $165,000 for an October 26 rally in Houston. Oprah's company, Harpo Productions, allegedly was paid a whopping $1 million for a live stream event in Michigan. And Al Sharpton's National Action Network said that they pulled in $500,000. And there's a multitude of other companies out there that receive checks as well. So what's the total amount? Who knows? No one knows. But honestly, that's not even the point here. It really isn't about the dollar amount. From Trump's perspective, this is a perfect political play, an easy headline to ignite his base, bait the corporate press, and put liberal icons like Beyonce and Oprah right on the defensive. And like clockwork, CNN scrambles to fact check to the fact check desk, to try to shut it down. But whether the payments were legal or not, the optics are still messy. And Trump knows exactly how to turn the spotlight right back on their behinds. Hey, you want to talk about a master manipulator, man? Oh my goodness, man. He's playing these people like that, going, puppets on a string, man. But let's keep going.
Continuation of a narrative that Trump has pushed for months. The difference now is that he's actually using the word prosecute. So let's take a look at the Beyoncé case in a little more detail. This is from Daniel Dell's check over the weekend. He says that the Trump claim is that Democrats, quote, admit to paying, probably illegally, $11 million to singer Beyoncé for an endorsement from Harris. Now, the actual little nugget of truth here is that Beyoncé's production company was paid $165,000 from the Harris campaign for the work putting on a rally last fall. So, a small amount of money that was conflated by right-wing.
They said a small amount of money. Since when is $165,000 a small amount of money? Let me put myself on the big screen. They said $165,000, a small amount of money. A small amount of money. Now, I've heard some people say that she got paid upwards of $11 million. Or $10 million, something along those lines. I don't know. But let's say, for instance, if it is true, they're willing to admit, this is what they're admitting to. They're admitting the fact that she did receive $165,000. Think about that. They said that that is a small amount of money. $165,000 is 3 to 4 times the national median wage, annual wage for an individual here in America. But $165,000 is a small amount of money to get up there and speak for, I don't know how long she talked because I didn't watch that entire rally that she had down there in Houston, but I'm not sure exactly how long. Somebody in the chat, please tell me how long did Beyonce get up there and speak on the behalf of Kamala Harris? I'm not really sure, but let's say, for instance, we'll give her an hour. I highly doubt she spoke for an hour. I highly doubt it. Oh, it was 5 minutes, B? Okay, so she earned $165,000 for 3 to 5 minutes of time. That's a lot of money, man. That is a lot of money. $165,000. If you earn $165,000 a year, you would be in the top 15% of earners in the entire country. If you earned $165,000 a year, you would be in the top 15% of earners in the entire country. And around the world, you are not just the 1%, you're in the 10th of a percent when you think about it on the worldwide stage. When you think it on the worldwide stage. So the fact that they're admitting that $165,000 and Soy Boy Celta here has the nerve to say that that's a small amount of money. Are you freaking kidding me? What's up, Dion? Appreciate you pulling up. What's going on? I mean, these people, $165,000 is a small amount of money. That's what Seltzer had to say. We're gonna let him keep going. Leslie Aaron said less than 5 minutes. Hold up, let me pull this up. Leslie Aaron says less than 5 minutes and she didn't say anything profound. Of course not. Now, the little bit of that I did see, and it's been so long, and people ask me and they say, man, you said something about a month ago. I'm to be honest with you, a lot of times, man, I don't remember what I said a month ago. I for daggone sure don't remember what I said. At this point, where we're in July going on August. At this point, this would have been 9 or 10 months ago. Actually, yeah, 9 or 10 months ago when this happened. I don't remember how long she spoke. I don't remember, but I do remember her facial expression. She didn't look comfortable being up there. She didn't look like she wanted to do it. She didn't look like it. But Seltzer said that it was a small amount of money, only $165,000. Only $165,000, small amount of money.
Message boards and memes last fall into a $10 million payment. That idea of a $10 million payment was made up, and now Trump has inflated it even further to $11 million. Again, that small payment to the production company, it's not unusual. But for Trump's followers, this post is a little bit of a verbal form of his vow to gain retribution against his perceived enemies. In another example over the weekend, Trump railed against American TV networks, saying, quote, networks aren't allowed to be political pawns for the Democrat Party. It has become so outrageous that, in my opinion, their licenses could and should be revoked. Now, TV station licensing has always been a nonpartisan, apolitical affair in the United States. Now, even if Trump's loyalists who oversee licensing wanted to revoke licenses from NBC or ABC or CBS, it would take a very long time and it would get tied up in the courts.
Okay, I'm done with this guy. He's small amount of money, $165,000. Now, I will say this. This is a classic Trump move, right? Grab a hold of a rumor, inflate the numbers a little bit, and then frame it as a scandal just juicy enough to send the media into a frenzy. Corporate media, that is. Mainstream media, that is. The DNC propagandists, that is. Just enough to send them in a frenzy. And sure enough, the press, they took the bait, man. MSNBC, they even brought out Al Sharpton to push back on the claim. You guys got to take a look. You can't make it up, man. They fall right into the trap every single time.
See, we have a couple questions for you on this, but let's just start simply with the accusation that President Trump has leveled at you. Were you paid for an endorsement?
Well, absolutely not. And as the FEC filings say, they helped the campaign, gave funds for Get Out the Vote campaigns for National Action Network, of which I'm a part of, and other civil rights groups, some which got more than National Action Network did. National Action Network, nor I, even endorsed her. What is interesting about this, though, is that the fact that this is as you accurately reported, second or third time, lawyers for National Action Network was looking at, can we sue him for defamation? Because he had knowledge this time that there was no endorsement and that I didn't get any money. This went to the nonprofit that I'm connected to. But let's look at the larger picture here. Donald Trump is in very serious problems around this whole question of Epstein.
Okay, so we all know they use these nonprofit organizations to launder money. So he said the money didn't come directly to me. Of course it didn't, Al. Of course it didn't, Al. Of course. They funnel it through the daggone organization. You gonna make sure you get your cut. I bet. Maybe he can get in there and try to sue. He won't though. You know why? Because he does not want to sit on that stand. He does not want to sit on that stand. And of course, what do they do best? Deflect. Oh, but Epstein, of course. Again, I gotta say this. Do I think the Trump administration has handled the Epstein situation properly? I don't think so. I think they've fumbled it big time, dating back to January. Too many people talking, not enough action when it comes to that particular situation. But this is what they do when it comes to their own issues. They deflect. And the thing is the fact that he can come out here and admit that, oh, my nonprofit organization received $500,000, which isn't a small amount of money. That's a lot of money. Do you guys realize there was an article that came out not too long ago that if you have a net worth of $500,000 in America, that would put you in the top 1% in the country? $500,000 is a lot of money. All these people do is deflect. All these people do is deflect. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't. You can't make this stuff up, man. So Sharpton insists that he never accepted personal compensation for an endorsement. He insists on that. And I believe that. I believe that they did not cut him a check directly. That would be entirely too messy. That would be entirely too reckless. He does admit that his National Action Network received $500,000 in the Get Out the Vote support from Kamala Harris's team, but that he says that was lawful, disclosed, and in line with what other nonprofits received during the election cycle. So, all right, I got it. And then next, he goes in and says that, hey, we're going to sue Trump, or threatens to sue Trump for defamation, denounces the post as racist, typical Al, and accuses the former president, you know what I'm saying, or accuses the president, you know, of whipping up threats against Black public figures. That's what he does. You know, this is Al, man. This is who he is. You should have known one of the next things out of his mouth was going to be, oh, this is racist. This is racist. Got a couple super chats I want to read. Shout out to Gerard Codwell with the $5 super sticker, man. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Shout out to Amethyst Angel with the $5 super chat. Says irony. Bay spoke about her kids at a rally that had a mobile pregnancy termination trailer outside. That's probably why she looked uncomfortable. Yeah, that's highly probable. Thank you, Amethyst Angel. Thank you very much.
Last week, he was trying to flood the zone to take any pressure off of him and try to put his MAGA base back together again. The fact is, he started by saying he's going to fire the Fed chief. That didn't work. Then he went on to something about tariffs. That didn't work. Then he decided to do what he started his political career on, start race baiting. Which was, he started with birtherism, that Obama wasn't born here. Then he went and released the files now last week of Martin Luther King Jr., some of which are very questionable, and the family was opposed to him doing it. That didn't work. The next day he goes after Barack Obama, saying he ought to be prosecuted. That didn't work. Then he tried something else. Then over the weekend, Kamala Harris, Oprah Winfrey, Beyoncé, Al Sharpton. The race card, the thread here is race, and that's what he's trying to do. They're swapping money. They're doing things like Obama was holding back with Russia. It's all about trying to get past Epstein. We have shown in National Action Network and other groups what we did and didn't do in the campaign. Even when I spoke at the convention, I said we don't endorse candidates. We have come with our files. Release the Epstein files, Mr. Trump. Do what we did, or be quiet.
Yeah, you're certainly.
Hey, the Biden-Harris, they were in there for 4 years. They should have released those files. Folks was calling and clamoring for those files to be released for 4 years. For 4 years. And they didn't do it. Now, again, I'm not absolving President Trump in the handling of these files. I'm not. I think it's been a bad look. It's been clumsy. They've really fumbled it in the way they've gone about it. They have. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. I don't think they've handled that particular situation as cleanly as they could have. But I digress. We're going to keep it moving. You know, I do have to ask this question to Al. Did the Harris campaign pay you to endorse her? We got to ask that question, right? You got to ask that. The question was asked. I got to ask that question. If you're sitting in front of me, I'd ask him that. Did they pay you to endorse her? You know, he's like, oh, I don't know. But Trump, he goes on. Trump went after Obama. You know, that is pure deflection. That's pure deflection right there. But here's the real issue. The same people who scream about race baiting are often the ones doing it themselves and pretending not to notice. These are the people that throw the rock and hide their hand all the time. Al Sharpton claims that Kamala didn't pay him, just his nonprofit, but that's political sleight of hand. Sharpton reportedly pulls in over $500,000 a year from that very nonprofit. He pulls in $500,000 a year from that nonprofit. So they paid the nonprofit $500,000. Al Sharpton actually receives a salary from that particular nonprofit of $500,000 a year. That's a lot of money, man. $500,000 a year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. When the group gets a campaign check, his influence and paycheck, it goes up. I mean, it's the oldest dodge in the book, man. I didn't take the money, my organization did. And then they cut me a check after the fact. Whether it's labeled consulting, production, or reimbursement, the results are the same. The celebrity, the nonprofit, or the media outlet gets paid. And the candidate gets a glowing spotlight. Legacy media pretends only the direct wire to a personal account counts as payment. Voters know better. We know better. We're not stupid. They used to be able to get away with this type of stuff, and then it would go over folks' heads, but not anymore. Not anymore. So my next question to you guys in the chat is, why do you think Trump tosses grenades like this? Why do you think Trump tosses grenades like this? Now, my thoughts on it is, I believe he knows the media can't resist. Whether the number is 11 million or 165,000, doesn't matter. He lobs it out there, and within hours, it dominates the headlines, the timelines, and the cable panels. Pundits, they call it a desperate distraction, but they're the ones distracted. Meanwhile, Trump's polling stays steady, border crossings drop, and job numbers rise. Stories they'd rather ignore. MSDNC, they rolled out Sharpton for damage control. He threatened to sue, but everyone knows that won't happen. They know it won't happen. A real lawsuit would expose the National Action Network's finances and open the books to discovery. He just talking. He just talking. They don't want you to know where their money comes from. Al Sharpton knows this. So he just talking. It's easy to talk that talk on TV. And the thing is, Trump knows it as well. He knows it as well. He knows that fool don't have no intent on suing. Are you kidding me? And if MSDNC were serious, if they were a serious news platform, they'd assign someone without a personal stake to grill him on the obvious conflict. Instead, they let him filibuster and change the subject, strip away the theater, and here's the pattern. Trump posts something, just incendiary, just inflammatory. The media declares it outrageous, blasts it nonstop, then wonders why everyone's talking about it. Rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat. Beyonce, she gonna keep selling out these tours. Everywhere she go, Beyonce gonna snatch a bag. Y'all already know. People are gonna use their daggone tax returns. People are gonna jump on Klarna. Folks ain't gonna pay rent to get them daggone Beyonce tickets. Y'all already know. Oprah, she gonna keep stacking checks. She gonna keep doing what she do. Sharpton, he's gonna keep cashing that nonprofit salary. And Kamala Harris, she's gonna keep denying that she bought endorsements, even when the FEC filings suggest otherwise. And Trump, well, he's gonna keep playing his game because it works. And until his critics figure out how to break the cycle, he'll keep winning where it counts: attention, airtime, and the loyalty of voters who believe the system is rigged. So the next time you hear about Beyonce's $11 million check or Sharpton's lawsuit threats, ask yourself, who profits? Who's protecting who? And why does the subject always change when the receipts come out? Because at the end of the day, celebrity influence is for sale. The media is happy to launder it, and Trump knows exactly how to make the whole machine spin. And speaking of pressing buttons, liberal media is having a hard time coping with much more than the potential lawsuit against Beyonce. For months, The pundits swore that the July 4th of the U.S. economy, July 4th, the U.S. economy would be on life support, crushed by President Trump's tariff wars and reckless, brinksmanship. That's what they said. That's what they told us. And I have to admit, I thought it sounded plausible at first. It was plausible. But yet here we are, well past Independence Day, with the stock market punching through record highs and mainstream humming right on along. New jobs, the jobs markets have come out. Not the job markets, the jobs report has come out, and they've beat on every report for the last 2 to 3 months. And, it brings us to this week's other reality check. The European Union's dramatic surrender at the negotiating table. Remember, we talked about this a little yesterday, but bravado, if you recall, they were poking their chest out a few months back they had a lot of bravado back on Liberation Day, when Brussels swore that it would never bow down to Washington's demands. They told you, they said it real hard with their chest. EU officials bragged about their willingness to slap 30% retaliatory duties on U.S. goods if Trump doesn't back off by August 1st. That was the deadline, which is right around the corner. That's this week. Fast forward to today, and that swagger has turned into capitulation. And an 11th hour framework that locks in a flat 15% tariff on European goods while prying open European markets to the U.S. agriculture, energy, autos, and industrial exports. Even MSDNC, they can't cope with how much America won with the EU trade deal. They can't cope with it. What really bothers me about these mainstream media platforms is the fact that they out loud want to see us fail. Because the reality of it is this: if you want to see the president fail, if you want to see President Trump fail, that means that you want to see the American people fail, and you want to see the American people suffer. These are some despicable individuals.
Take any hits with this deal? And what does it say, this outcome say about the president's ability to negotiate?
It's incredibly favorable for the United States. You look at this, it's been very one-sided. The U.S. has been making the demands, and these other countries have had to kind of contort and comport themselves to them. So they emerge fine here. But what's going to change is over the next weeks and months, as countries and trading partners like the EU look at this episode and think, can we trust this relationship with the U.S.? Can it continue? I think even looking at this deal, framework of which we don't have a ton of details. If that somehow goes south or changes, what's a trading partner like the EU to do? So we see them broaching new relationships with their other trading partners, looking for other opportunities. And I think that's going to be kind of the message here going forward. What's the legacy of these talks, of these threats going to be? And how are other countries going to kind of look at trade going forward? How are they going to change their tack now after all of this?
China is still a big question mark, and we know there are talks happening today, right, in Stockholm. Where do things stand there?
So we heard from the president this.
All righty. Shout out to Marla gifting an ARP family membership. Thank you very much, Marla. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel financially. And if you receive said membership, y'all make sure y'all show Marla some love in the chat. Please do that. So, MSDNC, they're struggling. They're normally the first in line to trash the administration. Y'all know this. Y'all know they are the first in line to normally trash the administration. They concede that the outcome is incredibly favorable to the United States. This was a win. It's a huge win. CNN, they had to do it as well. They actually admitted that Trump's tariffs worked. We got to take a look at it, but we talked about this. Well, I talked about this yesterday briefly, or actually we talked about it almost a whole day yesterday. But about a month or so ago, we also talked about the amount of money that was brought in via these tariffs. Oh, yeah, we're winning. We are definitely winning as a nation.
Bottom line is, this is the biggest trade deal in President Trump's effort to effectively reshape the global trading order. That has been one of his central priorities since taking office in January. He's been issuing many threats of tariffs, but they clearly have been working in terms of bringing other countries, allies, and adversaries alike, in some cases, to the negotiating table. And the latest example was today here in Scotland, when the leader of the European Commission, who of course is negotiating for the European Union, she agreed to a 15% across-the-board tariff. Now, that is significantly higher than the 10% tariffs in existence now, but it's much lower than the 30% threat that was coming on Friday and the 50% threat that was made in May. So clearly there has been an instance where the president has been using his threats of higher tariffs as a negotiating tactic, and in this case, it certainly worked.
Yeah. Anybody that's worked in sales, anybody that's, that own a business, that has to negotiate, you never give the farm away with the first offer. You never do that. Hey, what we do know, those of us that have worked in sales, you know that you can always come down. You can never go up. Once you put a baseline number out there, you can always work. We can work our way and negotiate our way down. You can never go up. That's why I used to, when I used to, mentor people, when they were, getting their resumes and they're looking for an opportunity, and they would say, "Oh, I'd like to make $60,000 a year." I would always tell them, don't ask for 60,000 because that's your negotiating point. I would always tell them, if you want to make 60 grand, you need to ask for 80 and let it be known that you're flexible. So therefore, whoever it is that you're dealing with, they understand, okay, looking for 80, live flexible. They know where they want to be at. We can work our way down. We can start to negotiate and we can work our way down from there. The crazy thing is, you ask for 80, you will accept 60. You might get 67, 68. You might get 70. You never know. You never know. But if you ask for 60, that's where they're going to start negotiating at. The crazy thing is, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of people in our country that really understand how to negotiate because we don't have that type of system, that type of barter, that type of bartering system. We don't have that. We don't have that here. Every other nation around the world, when you go over there, everything is up for negotiations. Everything's up for negotiation. If somebody's selling something, not only is it up for negotiation, they actually expect you to negotiate because that's the culture. It's us here in our nation that, it's somewhat taboo to negotiate. It's somewhat taboo to negotiate. So a lot of people don't really understand when the president was saying, hey, 30% tariffs, 50% tariffs. He was letting it be known, hey, this is where we're starting at. I'm willing to negotiate, but this is where we're starting at. He might have had it in his mind that, hey, if we can get to 15%, man, that's a good number. But if you start at 15%, hey, we're working our way down from there. I wish this is something that they would teach people. I wish it's something that they would teach people, in school or maybe in college or even if you're in trade school, and then you go out there and you start to look for an opportunity. A lot of people don't really understand how to negotiate. Negotiating is a skill. It is a skill. And to be honest with you, a lot of times people negotiate and they talk too much. They talk too much. Now, y'all sitting here listening to me, and they was like, who is this dude to say that he talked too much? And all I'm doing is running my mouth. But I'm just saying, I'm giving y'all some game today. Hear me out. You put a number out there, the first person who speaks loses. The first person who speaks loses. You got to learn to put that number out there and be quiet. Silence. Most people can't handle uncomfortable silence. Most people can't handle the uncomfortable silence in a negotiation. Most people can't handle it. So whatever that number is that you need to be at, let it be known, hey, this is my number. Sit back and be quiet. Don't even try to justify it after that point. Make them offer you something. Make them say something to you. Look at that. We're getting a little sales 101, a little negotiating 101 here. For those of y'all that don't know, I was a headhunter in my former life. I did that dating back to 08. I had been in that space, for man, what is that? 14, 15 years or so. And Crystal, you're absolutely right. You have to be willing to walk away. You got to be willing to walk away. Know what your number is, know what your value is, and be willing to walk away from said number, to walk away if need be. More times than not, they will always reach back out to you. I've seen it happen entirely too many times. My entire professional career had been negotiating deals. Hey, but I'll say this, it's wild how the narrative has changed and shifted here, because they can't argue this. They can't argue against it. This deal and a multitude of these deals that are being made with other countries are wins for America. Simple as that. First, the EU, they're going to slash its tariffs on American industrial goods and agree to recognize key U.S. auto standards, clearing the way for more Chevys, F-150s on European roads, which is something that you hadn't seen in the past. I mean, I've gone to Europe and I've been to a multitude of countries in Europe. I don't think I've ever seen a Chevy or, a Ford F-150. I don't think I've ever seen one of those out there. And to be honest with you, I can't recall seeing any American-made vehicles over there in general. I just can't. The second situation here is that Europe, they will double and possibly triple its annual investment into the United States, especially in energy infrastructure, in LNG purchases, reducing its dangerous dependence on Russian gas. And third, Brussels, they're going to lower longstanding barriers on U.S. pork, beef, dairy, medical devices, and telecommunication gear. In exchange, Washington is giving them a modest 15% tariff, which is a far cry from the doomsday 30% that Europe feared. The people got to understand that we have the power. We're the number one consuming nation on the planet. Everybody makes money here. Everybody gets money here. So the net result of this situation is a massive dent in America's trade deficit with the EU and a fresh manufacturing tailwind right here at home. And predictably, folks like the Wall Street Journal editorial board, they grumble that the pact doesn't yet tackle Europe's digital services tax or drug prices control. Fair critiques, but they missed the bigger picture. For 70 years, the United States ran an open trade policy subsidizing allies' growth, hollowing out its own factories, and trusting everyone else to play by the rules. Trump's project is a rebalance. It's to rebalance that arrangement. Keep the dollar strong, yes, but rebuild the industrial base and demand reciprocity. And sometimes in order to demand reciprocity, you gotta play ball. You gotta threaten tariffs because they might just work like they did here. And even Bill Maher, with his flip-flopping behind, he recently admitted that he was wrong about Trump's tariffs, which is good on Bill that he is willing to come out and admit, but you know what time it is with that guy. We never see this sort of, aha moment coming from our friends over on liberal mainstream media, but check out what Bill had to say, about this particular situation here.
I, along with probably most people, was saying at the beginning, by the 4th of July, somebody had to think how the economy was going to be tanked by then. And I was kind of like, well, that seems right to me, but that didn't happen. Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is, I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, But I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So, you know, how do we deal with that fact? Because that's the fact.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna give credit when credit is due, you know, and I do respect. I respect Bill Maher, you know, saying, "Hey, I got egg on my face. I gotta own it. I didn't believe that this would be the case. I gotta own it." I can respect that. I can respect a straight shooter, someone who isn't afraid to say, "Yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong." I can respect that. I can respect a person coming out saying, "Hey, my side was wrong." Not everyone has that level of honesty and humility. Not everyone has that. But anyway, all of this underscores a simple truth. Donald Trump wrote The Art of the Deal. And the world is living in its sequel right now. They probably need to write another book on Art of the Deal Part 2 and how to negotiate with other nations around the globe and make sure we have this playbook for presidents in the future to utilize. Hey, this is how we get our way. This is how we get our way. Now, there are some people out there, they may dislike his style. You may wince at his tweets. You know, sometimes he may come across a little uncouth, but the man knows how to leverage America's strengths and bend reluctant partners towards mutually beneficial outcomes. You got to respect that. The pundits who analyze every move through an anti-Trump lens keep getting blindsided because they're describing the world they wish existed, not the one that actually does. So take a breath, look at the scoreboard, and decide whether you want leadership that apologizes for American power or leadership that wields it to secure better deals for the workers, farmers, and families. You choose. You decide. What makes more sense to you? I got to ask the question to my folks in the chat. If Kamala Harris would have won, do you think that we would get these types of deals? Do you think that we would have this type of investment in our country from the EU, from Japan? Do you honestly believe that other organizations, companies that make tons of money, billions upon billions of dollars right here in America, do you think that they would be willing to invest in our nation had Kamala Harris won? Do you think we would see the type of, you know, building of infrastructure happening in our nation, in some of these smaller cities that have been depressed, that need a real shot in the arm? Do you think we would see it? Because I don't. I don't. And finally, I want to move on to something else that's been happening, and this time it's in the fashion world. We're gonna move on to something in the fashion world that is trending, that was brought to my attention. we got to talk about it, man. We do. I'm sorry. We do. But let's go.
I'm here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
Jenny, I knew y'all. Y'all are a mess. The chat, y'all, hey, y'all never fail. Yeah. Y'all are a mess, man. Seriously. Shout out to Spaces with the $2 super chat. Says, if Kamala won, it would have been 60 million illegals. You're absolutely right there. You're absolutely right there. Hey, hey, the sisterhood is y'all are man, sheesh. Stop. Y'all are ridiculous, man. Goodness gracious. I thought the fellas, would have went in. The ladies, goodness gracious, y'all going in on the young lady. Oh my goodness, man. Y'all are y'all are something else, man. Y'all are something else. So we got to talk about it real fast. Shout out to Spaces with the $2 super chat. Said I lost a brain cell watching that. Thanks, Five. We got to lighten it up from time to time, right? Y'all are crazy, man. Y'all are a mess. Goodness gracious. Oh man. So, okay. So let's settle in real quick. I got to settle down a little bit and unpack this one. Okay. I gotta unpack one of the most overinflated online freakouts that I've seen in ages, and it's over this little ad here. You know what I'm saying? Even y'all going in on her. We got to talk about it, man. A lot of people are bugging out over this particular ad. So American Eagle, they rolled out some new jeans. They rolled out this new jeans commercial starring the ever-trending actress, Sydney Sweeney. I'm not even going to mention some of the things that you guys have said in the chat, but, Hollywood's, she is Hollywood's current it girl. Now, to be honest with you, before all of this, I wasn't familiar with Sydney Sweeney. I told you guys, I watch a lot of older movies. There are a few new shows that I do watch that I'll get in from time to time, but for the most part, I like stuff pre-2010. That's just me. I like older school movies, and I really love movies from the 80s. So I don't know much about Sydney Sweeney. If somebody knows who she is or what she played in, put it down in the chat. I'm not really familiar of a role or movie that she's played in. I'm not familiar with her. Like I said, I'm old school. I like movies pre-2010. There are some newer things that have come out that I was like, it's not bad. I can get into. But I like the old school stuff. I like movies from the 80s and 90s. I can even get with some of the movies from the 70s. But I'm not real familiar with Sydney Sweeney. I'm not sure. I can't think of a movie or show or whatever it is that she's in. I don't know. But apparently she's Hollywood's current it girl. And the whole point of this ad or the entire gag is to play on denim versus DNA. So denim versus DNA, cue the digital meltdown. And in the span of a few hours, blue check activists and doom scrolling TikTok critics convinced themselves that American Eagle had dropped a secret dog whistle for white supremacy. Their logic goes something like this: attractive blonde girl, plus mention of inherited traits, plus zoom in on her baby blues equal Nazi propaganda. People are really sensitive these days, by a lot of things. I don't really know people who really rock American Eagle gear like that. I don't really know much about American Eagle clothing. But by breakfast, you had people screaming that the company had just ran a fascist-coded ad campaign championing eugenics, as if Hitler were moonlighting in the marketing department. I'm just saying, TikTok is going crazy right now over this particular ad here. But let's check out what some of these folks had to say about it.
A friend that's too woke, because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird, like fascist weird, like Nazi propaganda weird.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring. often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My jeans are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda. I also am thinking about like all of the young girls who are doing their back to school shopping right now at places like American Eagle who are seeing ads like this. Yikes. Also, American Eagle is mostly a brand that like teenagers to like young adults shop at, and so the fact that like this type of advertising is being used that feels so for the male gaze and so over sexualized, like I just don't like it. I don't like it even a little bit. Bro, and I haven't even mentioned the fact that this entire ad campaign that Sydney Sweeney is doing right now is incredibly reminiscent to the Brooke Shields Calvin Klein jeans ad campaign that she did when she was 14 years old. That was extremely over-sexualized and weird. Yeah. Why are we referencing that? Why are we referencing that? I thought we agreed that that was weird that they had her do that. So we got a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman talking about her good genes in an ad campaign that is a reference to a 14-year-old Brooke Shields, Calvin Klein's ad campaign that we've all agreed was really weird and predatory. Yeah, I don't like this one. I don't like it. I don't like anything about it.
All right. I don't think we can take anybody serious when they have that particular flag in the background there. Interesting. Pull myself back up here. I know a lot of you guys have a whole lot to okay, so Aura says she's on Euphoria, seen like 3 episodes. Okay. I'm not even sure. I've never heard of Euphoria before. I'm not even sure where you would watch it. Let me see a couple of folks in my chat. I know Latrice says it ain't that deep. I would agree with that. It's not that deep. I mean, this is an ad and they are marketing to certain people. Don't necessarily see an issue with that when they put ads or people make clothing for certain groups or demographics of people. I don't think everything is for everybody. Just my opinion. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Chef G Rap says, where was the outrage? Where was the apple bottom outrage? Yeah, I remember those apple bottoms when they came out. Those I remember the ads too. They were tailored towards a certain demographic of people. A lot more curvy types. You know, we did just have, I covered the story yesterday. We just had the new Ralph Lauren line, the Oak Bluff collection that just came out, which in my opinion, I thought was, tastefully done. It was really nice. I don't necessarily have an issue. We understand that, with that particular ad, they're marketing to a certain group of people. I don't necessarily have an issue with that either. We've seen this before. We've seen, especially when it comes to clothing, we've seen clothing companies create clothing designed for certain people. Oh, Chef G Rap, you used to vacay in Oaks Bluff? Uh-oh. Let me find out. Okay now. Okay. I see you. I need to reach out to you for a loan, brother. I'll be reaching out to you today, okay? Thank you. But this particular situation, man, I mean, I'm not really sure where to begin at, with this particular, but I guess we'll start here. I don't think that American Eagle is, I don't think they're quietly trying to revive the Third Reich. I don't think that with the skinny fit boot cut pant. I mean, they're selling jeans. They hired a celebrity who some people would identify as a nice looking woman. They wrote a playful line about good genes, which is a play off of a good genes, GEANS, and trusted audiences to appreciate the pun. That's the entire strategy. That's the entire strategy here. But the outrage, the outrage that has perpetuated itself in the corners of the internet. I mean, it just can't resist inventing villains. They see a blonde model and immediately shout fascism. Why did American Eagle lean into classic aspirational advertising instead of the everybody welcome gimmick that dominated the past decade? Everything isn't for everybody. Every product isn't sold. Every product that is produced isn't meant for everybody to have or to purchase. People create things for certain people all the time. Not a big deal. People are entirely too sensitive in today's age, man. There is a lot of super sensitive people out there. But the reality is, beautiful people move product. That we do know. That we do know. Now, we do know that they tried to change it. They tried to debunk that, and they found out that it doesn't work. We've already witnessed what happens when brands pretend otherwise. Y'all remember Victoria's Secret's attempt to swap supermodels for relatable plus-size ambassadors? How'd that work out? Sales cratered. Market share evaporated. And the once coveted angel wings were shoved into the storage. Consumers don't buy lingerie or jeans because the model on the billboard looks exactly like them. No, they buy it because the model looks like someone they love to resemble, if only for a Saturday night. Advertising thrives on aspiration, not affirmation. Do I need to repeat that for my folks in the back? Advertising thrives on aspiration, not affirmation. And that's what the left apparently likes to call ethnic cleansing. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. Oh man, Brett Montgomery, the daggone Jaguar ad was atrocious.
They're literally saying the quiet part out loud, but was it ever truly quiet when you're wearing dumbass merch like this? I mean, really, make America great again. When was America ever great? Their definition of greatness was when this country was full of white supremacists and that slavery still existed. And now we have this interesting ad with a play on words where we pass on blue genes to those genetically with blue eyes. And let me just guess that they're going to market that these jeans are made out of 100% cotton. Heaven forbid that there's any poly blend or any mixture of other fabrics, because we will totally wrap them all up and incinerate them like we incinerated $10 million worth of contraceptives overseas and 56,000 tons of food. But there's always an exception of the mixture of different fabrics with 100% cotton, and that's when the 100% cotton is being picked by people of color. I mean, it's no accident that Sydney Sweeney's initials are SS.
What? The mental gymnastics to get here is insane. I don't know who's dealing with this woman, but I feel sorry for her. Whoever it is that's dealing with this individual. If they could what? I don't even know if this is real. I can't tell, if it's a parody or not. American Eagle is trying to sell jeans. Maybe trying to get their stock up. Marketing for middle-aged men a bit, maybe. But in my opinion, that's all this is. They're trying to sell stock, not send some subliminal message. Sydney Sweeney SS? So you're saying that her parents, made sure they gave her the SS initials. That's a reach, man. Seriously. That is a reach. But of course, the revelation that a company might want to use a good-looking model to sell their clothes infuriates the self-styled body positivity police. They insist that showing overweight or real-looking people will magically boost sales by making customers feel seen. Reality disagrees. When a brand fills its campaign with frumpy, disheveled, or otherwise unremarkable models, shoppers subconsciously conclude that the product is for frumpy, disheveled, unmarkable, or unremarkable folks. The harsh truth is that most buyers, even the average ones, prefer a fantasy. Most buyers, even the average ones, prefer a fantasy. They don't want jeans that scream practical. They want jeans that whisper, you could look like her. Enter Sydney Sweeney. When teenage girls shop for back-to-school outfits, they recognize Sweeney as this stylish archetype, archetype that they like the channel, and that's marketing gold. But instead of admitting this obvious equation, our online watchdogs reframe the ad as coded hate screed. They brand Sweeney's blue-eyed, Nazi-adjacent shriek about Aryan beauty standards and dredge up 1980s Calvin Klein commercials with a 14-year-old Brooke Shields that I don't even remember, but they say that, that it, as if it's proof of history and proof of history repeating itself. I mean, let's address that comparison real quick. Brooke Shields was underage, when that happened. Sydney Sweeney is 20-something, I believe. One campaign was overtly sexual for shock value. The other is kind of tongue-in-cheek wordplay about, inherited denim. The two are light years apart, but the nuance is poison to outrage culture. Meanwhile, normal people scrolling past the ad think exactly two thoughts. One, the jeans may or may not be cute. And two, maybe I should pick up a pair if I actually like them with my next paycheck. And that's it, man. They're not plotting an ethos state between the fitting rooms and the cash register. They just want to feel attractive in the mirror. And speaking of attractiveness, let's dispense with the sanctimony around the male gaze. One viral critic condemned the spot and Sydney Sweeney for catering to heterosexual men. I mean, the victimhood Olympics is on 1,000 with these people, man. Seriously.
Sweeney is that she could have been a gay icon if she had better marketing tactics and different management. Okay, hear me out. I'm not a huge fan of her, but if she had done things in a different way and played things in a different way, honestly, she could have done the whole Renee Rapp thing. And, the girls would have loved it. But instead, she decided to go for the worst demographic to pander to ever. Okay, men. Men do not buy things. Men are not a supportive demographic long term. Okay, they're wishy-washy as hell. Remember 3 months ago, all the incels were calling her mid? They are going to turn their back on her the second that she does or says something that they don't like, or that she comes out in a swimsuit that they don't like. Isn't that a thing that happened? So she honestly could have done her career a super big solid by just pandering to women instead. If you're gonna fake a vocal fry, why not do it for the gal? Look a little bit more alive in the eyes. Don't, look up here. You could have done and made your whole career entirely different for the women. And honestly, it probably would be way more profitable. And she wouldn't need to do as many of these terrible brand deals. She could have been way more successful. She had so much potential, to be honest. The girlies loved her in Euphoria. She just turned out to be Cassie.
I don't know, man. I don't even know why I'm even covering this, but whatever. What in the world? Oh my goodness. I got a headache listening to that. What we do know is that online mobs, they're going to manufacture controversy out of thin air. They're going to manufacture controversy out of thin air because rage right now is currency. A run-of-the-mill jeans commercial morphs into a fascist propaganda, racking up millions of views for critics who'd otherwise be screaming into the void. An American Eagle gets basically free publicity, and free publicity is priceless. And the haters, they get the dopamine hits from moral grandstanding, and everyone wins except common sense. So let's stop pretending there's, a goose-stepping tailor lurking behind every clothing tag. Can we stop that? American Eagle isn't staging a, what do you call it? A culture camp. They're balancing a ledger. They're trying to make some money. They're trying to sell some jeans. I mean, they tried the woke washed approach. They did, and it dented their bottom line. If you guys recall, there was some ads back in the day where they did go the plus size route, and it didn't work. They lost money. So they pivoted back to the age-old formula: hire someone that the people perceive as beautiful, crack a harmless joke, sell more jeans. If that offends, professional scolds on TikTok, well, hey, that's just a bonus spike in engagement, pretty much. I'm really sick and tired of all these super sensitive people that feel like everything has to be promoted to everyone. I'm really, really sick and tired of that. The reality of it is people create products and they create services for the people that they want to create the products and services for. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. I don't see the big deal. But that's pretty much the show today, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. Thank you very much. Looks like we got 501 likes this fine Tuesday morning. Crystal said, I'm going to offend them on TikTok. Oh, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Thank you to everybody that supported the channel financially. Shout out to all my ARP family members. Thank you very much, man. Shout out to, we got 502 likes this fine morning. And shout out to the, to the Blues, in the chat, Brett Montgomery, B, T.A. Caskey. Shout out to you, brothers. Good to see you, man. Zephyr K9, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you guys pulling up, man. Hey, yeah, it is blazing hot, man. Especially if you're up here in the Northeast, man. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you stay hydrated because it is smoking outside. Man, but I hope you guys enjoyed the show today, man. I hope so. Be on the lookout, man. Friday panel show. We're gonna have a great conversation. Y'all know the Friday show is gonna be a long one. Be on the lookout for it, man. It's gonna be a good one, though. We got the crew pulling up, so I'm looking forward to that this coming Friday. Chef G-Rap said make sure you get that coconut water. Yeah, that coconut water is good for you, man. Definitely helps with the hydration for sure. Yeah, today is blazing. Tomorrow, they say it's going to be one of the hottest days of the summer. They say it's going to be one of the hottest days of the summer tomorrow, but, today it's going to be smoking outside, man. So y'all be safe out there, man. Stay hydrated. Appreciate everybody that pulled up this morning, man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate you guys, man. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. It is crazy out here in these streets, as you guys can see. Especially if you're going to any of these large gatherings and, things of that, man, keep your head on a swivel. Mind your business. And when things get crazy, get the heck on. Don't stay around looky-looing. Don't stay around watching. Hey, it's time to go. I tell my wife when we're out and about, something pop up, well, time to go. Time to go. Be safe out there, man. On the flight, man. Chef G-Rap, safe travels to you, brother. Be safe, man. But, as always, man, hey, keep God first, stay prayed up, man. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow, Lord willing, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys, man. God bless you all. Y'all take care, man.
We won't stop. I won't quit. Stand for the truth. No counterfeit. Real ones rise. Let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies. Let the dark